Greetings and welcome. Now, I've got to get into this Lee Anson thing. I've just got back from work, but I've got to do a video on it because the guy is just such a knob. He is such a... I listened to the speech earlier and he's defected to reform. We all knew it was going to happen. I'm more interested on how much the payoff is from Richard Tice to go over to the reform. But his speech that he... Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
I will start by saying, I want my country back.
Me too. Me too, Lee. I want my country back from people like you that are involved in the Tory government that you've been a part of for the last 5 years. I want my country back from people like you that voted for Brexit and people like you that have put forward policy that means we have record high homelessness, record high NHS waiting times, record high child poverty, all the things that your government that you were a part of, the Tories, brought in over the last 13 years and yourself in being in Parliament for the last 5 years. I want our country back from people like you, Lee, from you.
For the last year or so, I've had to do a lot of soul searching on my political journey. And he was laughing. And
we're laughing at you, Lee. We're laughing at you, Lee, because you're pathetic. You're pathetic. That's why people are laughing at you, mate. Get a grip and understand you're completely clueless.
And my constituents. Now, I might not know a lot of these long words some of the people use in Parliament, but I know a few short ones. But unfortunately, this sometimes leads me to be labelled as controversial in my opinions. But my opinions are not controversial. There are opinions which are shared by millions of people up and down the country.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Your opinions are controversial because your opinion was that Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, is an extreme Islamist who believes in extreme Islam and is controlled by people that believe in extreme Islam. Those were your opinions, and I can guarantee you right now, especially if you look at the demonstrations that are going on in London, there are not millions of people that share your opinion, Mr. Lee Anderson, and the majority of people think that they are extreme views.
It's not controversial to be concerned about illegal immigration. It's not controversial to be concerned about legal migration. It's not controversial to be, worried, concerned about the Metropolitan Police and a failing London Mayor and the hate marchers, the street crime and the shoplifters literally getting away with ruining businesses on a daily basis.
All outcomes from your government, your Tory government. Everything you listed right there, high immigration, high illegal immigration, shoplifting, police, crime, all outcomes from 13 years of Tory austerity, which you were a part of for the last 5 years, Lee.
It's not controversial to fight back in a culture war that is sweeping our nation.
Orchestrated by the likes of you. The culture war is there because the Tories cannot win an election on how well they've been doing with the economy, how well they've been doing with NHS, every aspect of the country. The only way they can win an election is by phony culture wars, getting the public, splitting the public, getting them against each other so people believe that you can't vote for Labour because they're all about woke and vice versa. The culture war is orchestrated by people like you and GB News that you love so much, getting people concerned about absolute garbage instead of the real things that are going on that have been doing by your government. Child poverty, homelessness, education, NHS, completely ruined by your government. The culture war is there to distract us from that fact.
Proud of our great country and the gifts it has given to the world over hundreds of years. Gifts like the Industrial Revolution, railways, culture, sports, medicine, such as vaccines, which have saved hundreds of millions of lives. And we defeated fascism in 2 world wars. We've always punched above our weight.
Always bring up the world wars, don't they? They always go back to the world wars. But the thing is, I agree with what you're saying here. I used to be proud of my country. I used to be proud of all those things that you just listed. Culture, sport, arts, music, all those things, defeating fascism and Nazism. I'm proud of those things, but I'm not proud of my country anymore. Since Brexit, since isolating it, basically saying to the EU, we don't want anything to do with you, isolating ourselves, becoming more racist, becoming just a disgusting country with poverty, that we don't care about our homeless, we don't care about people that are in poverty. I'm ashamed. That's what I'm ashamed of our country of now.
On the international stage. But now, like millions of people in this country, I feel that we are slowly giving our country away. We are giving away our way of life. We are allowing people to erase our history. We are giving up our streets to a minority of people who literally hate our way of life.
Please explain to me. I'm still yet to have a proper explanation to why the people that are demonstrating against the war in Gaza are hate march. It's a hate march and full of hate. How can you possibly have, in a free democracy, that people like you on the right are supposed to be advocates of free speech, free demonstration, in a free society, in a free country? How can it possibly be deemed as a hate march where people are on the streets because they're unhappy about women and children being murdered in Gaza? And also they're not happy by the fact that this government sell weapons to Israel, support them militarily for them to bomb women and children in Gaza. How is it undemocratic? How is it a hate march for people to go on the street and demonstrate the fact that they're not happy about this? It's madness. I'm yet to hear a decent explanation to how this is a hate march.
Parliament doesn't seem to understand what many British people want. And quite frankly, some of them need to get out more. I made some remarks a few weeks back about the London Mayor, for which I was stripped of the whip from the Conservative Party. And let me be clear right now, on this stage, I will not apologise. It is no secret that I've been talking to my friends in Reform for a while, and Reform UK has offered me the chance to speak out in Parliament on behalf of millions of...
And paid you a good couple of million, I would assume, as well.
...people up and down the country who feel that they're not being listened to. People will say that I've took a gamble, and I'm prepared to gamble on myself, as I know from my mailbag how many people in this country support Reform UK on what they have to say. And like millions of people up and down the country, all I want is my country back.
You keep saying millions of people share our views, millions of people believe in reform. Whatever shape or form this party has taken over the years, however far you go back, whether it's UKIP or BNP or Britain First or Brexit Party and now Reform, never once has this organisation ever voted in a Member of Parliament. They've been involved in hundreds of by-elections and general elections. They have never ever voted in one single Member of Parliament. They've had a few defect, like Lee Anderson, like the UKIP one previously, but they've never voted in a Member of Parliament. And stand there and say millions of people share our views. They don't. They don't. It's a complete fabrication. And I'd say the opposite. When you look at the demonstrations against the war in Gaza on the streets in London, I'd say millions of people have the complete opposite views to you, Lee Anderson.
Now, this may sound offensive to the Liberal elite, but it's not offensive to my friends, my family, my constituents and some of my donors. Constituents like my mum and dad, who told me they could not vote for me unless I joined Reform UK. My parents are both nearly 80, and they get it, and I must not let them down. As I said at the beginning, I want my country back. Thank you.
Me too. As I said in the beginning, I want my country back as well, Lee. And I'll finalise on the end there. He said about his 80-year-old parents that would not vote for him unless he moved to Reform. And that's the sad state of affairs, that there are people out there that are really suckered into this Reform Party, obsessed with immigration, obsessed with Islam, generally think that every single protest on the street of London is a pro-terrorist march, when it could not be further from the truth. People have had enough of our country selling arms to Israel, supporting Israel when they are bombing women and children, they're bombing hospitals. And in a democratic society, we should be able to take to the streets and say, no, we've had enough, we've had enough. Lee Anderson, I can't stand this bloke. I had to do a video about it. Please give me your thoughts down below. What Lee Anderson, I can't wait till he's kicked out. I cannot wait. He's another one, and I cannot wait till election night when I get to see the likes of Lee Anderson stand up in a school hall somewhere in Ashfield and be annihilated and lose their job. And I want Tory MP after Tory MP to do the same. If you enjoyed the video, click a like. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe up top. There'll be another video. You can check that out as well. Till next time, take care.